going to show you a very typical sort of thing that you might want to do using the Align and Pathfinder tools. So I've got my rectangle tool selected. I'm just going to start by creating a number of these shapes. I'm deliberately going to put them all over the page like this. All right. And what I might do is select them all. Notice that I used my black selection arrow there and I just dragged over all of them. Using my Align tool, I can then say that I want all of these aligned through the middle, like this. And if I wish, I can say Align to key object, and I want to make them 5mm apart. And now those 5 rectangles are all very accurately spaced 5mm apart. Okay, so that's a very handy thing to understand how to do. One of the things that you'll want to do in your project for making a development is along these lines. We want to create a cross shape here. Imagine that we're going to fold these up along here. What we want to do is select them both and then use the Pathfinder tool to unite them. Okay, now that's really important because if we didn't do that, the laser cutter would cut through these parts and we would end up with 5 rectangles sitting independently of each other. In a later video, I'll show you some more specifics about what we would then do in this space here, all right, to give us a better opportunity to have some fold lines there. One of the things that you might like to have a play around with some of these shapes is some of the other Pathfinder tools. So for example, if I draw a circle and I position that circle over the top of this object, I can then select both and I can say minus front, and it then cuts that circular shape out of the shape that was sitting behind it. Okay, so one of the sorts of things that you might like to do with your project is use a semicircular shape at the end of an object like this. All right. Now just notice how I'm going about doing this. Probably better to go about doing it in a more mathematical way to make sure that the shapes are all perfectly the same size. So I can say that I want this to be 100 and I want this one to be 100 as well. And then I can make sure that they are lined up with each other like that. And we would just align them like that. You notice that those pink things came up saying that it was in the middle. Okay, so from there, I then have a choice. I could do what I just showed you. I unite them, or potentially I might want to minus the front, okay, and then just be left with that semicircle shape there. Or perhaps I wanted to take a bite out of the object, in which case I would go minus back, all right, and I've now taken a bite out. That all just depends on the order of which you put the shapes down, okay, how you go about doing that. So that's Align, Pathfinder, and Transform. As you work, you might find that you need to measure a particular distance that might be a little bit obscure, or perhaps you've even just forgotten how big you made something. You can go into Transform and have a look at it, or you can use this dimension tool here and you can click. So it will hover over and give you the measurements, or if we click on the two of them, it'll tell us that that's 100. I've got mine set to no decimals, which is why it didn't give me a funny number there. That's better. That's better. Now it's telling me that it's 100mm there, and then you can just select that, delete that if you wish. Okay, so those are the main ones there, Align and Pathfinder. We had Unite, minus front, and minus back. You can have a play around with the other functions here, like center in the vertical direction. We can align the bottom edges and then there's that aligned key object so that you can evenly space things out. Okay. In the next video, I'm going to show you much more specific information about how you draw your development for your project.